What is it about Final Girl? And what am I missing? Horror movies are one of my all-time favourite genre of movies. I absolutely love them, and we used to go to cinema and watch them all the time. We used to get them on the old DVD machines, maybe even the VHS machines, if you remember that. They were a thing. And I always loved them, living on the edge of your seat, that kind of adrenaline-fueled fear, and also just interest in the genre and how they play with your emotions. Now, putting that into a board game is quite difficult. I don't think there is ever such a thing as a scary board game. A movie, you are completely immersed in a dark room, potentially watching a film alone or with one other person. Things can scare you because shadows move around in the dark and things are pretty scary in life. You have to walk home in the dark from the cinema after a horror movie, and after you've just seen something just jump out of a bush, you never know if something's going to jump out of a bush on your way home through the English countryside. But a board game, you can always just take yourself out of the experience. You can put the spooky, wooky music on in the background. You can set up your game on the table and have if you go and upgrade the miniatures and that kind of thing, and you can get it more realistic looking, but you can always just walk out the room or turn on a light, or it never really immerses you that much. And maybe that's where the immersion falls for me, because my love of the horror genre is based on those emotions that the film is making me feel, sometimes more than the movie itself, because a lot of horror movies they're not good, but they evoke a sense of fear or feeling inside, and that's all we ever want to do, is feel something. And potentially that's where maybe Final Girl fails for me. But there is something that is keeping it in my collection, also making me buy 4 stories. So of the 4 feature films that I've got Camp Happy Trails featuring Hans the Butcher. This loosely based, some would say, on Friday the 13th. However, no one would say such a thing. This is the starter game. This is one that I would recommend everybody start with. It is always really interesting to go straight into your favorite horror film and go straight for that one, because there are games based on The Thing and Alien and all sorts, but there are extra complexities in the rules, and with games, it's all exciting to go all whole hog in, but make sure you've got the basics down, and that is where Camp Happy Trails sits in, and this is the one I have played the most just to get used to the game. The second feature film I indeed fell into the trap of, let's buy my favourite horror movie from horror movies, and I bought the Marek Murders featuring the Tormentor. This game is very much based on Saw, and it is very unique and it's very interesting. I really actually enjoy the gameplay of this one. There are essentially puzzles to solve. You're trying to unarm the traps, whether it's the reverse bear trap or different types of traps that you would have seen in certain movie films. They're featured in this game quite prominently. It's really interesting. There are ladders, there are little like escape routes and things like that you can use. It changes up the rule set a little bit, keeps it a bit more interesting. So this one I really enjoyed because it's different. And it's also it's Saw, and Saw's the greatest movie of all time. Maybe some would say. Other ones I've got to try out are the Dr. Fright. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street based storyline where you are going down Maple Lane. Ooh, it's not Elm Street because it's a different tree. Again, something unique, and again, wonderful, wonderful art that I particularly enjoy the look of this one and the design of the artwork. Not that that really matters because the art's only on the box, and the final girls themselves. But yeah, you know. And the other ones I've got Geppetto, the Carnage at the Carnival. I got this one because it interested me that you not only would have you'd have Geppetto, you also have the little puppets, little Pinocchio monsters that he can send out and do a big murder with. So to me, these were 4 really unique, different stories. Because when you're getting games that are fundamentally based on the same thing, you want them to do things different, which brings up like when you have 50 copies of Ticket to Ride and most of them are exactly the same, or the Everdell collections, that kind of thing. You want those little changes even though the core base of the game is the same. So they're the 4 that I have. They're 4 interesting stories that I have, that I enjoy the movies of. And when you play them, it's fun. Some of them more enjoyable than others, I've found, but that's just with all games. But there's just something that I don't know what it is. So for those of you that do not know exactly what Final Girl is, it's essentially a simulator of a horror movie. You will have a deck of basic cards in hand. These cards will stay with you forever and you can play them and take the actions. Later in the game, you'll be able to buy new cards. These new cards, when you've used them, they go back into the market and you can buy them again. They're kind of one-time use, but they're a bit better. And there's a real strategy in what cards you're going to buy at the time to work out what exactly you're going to do, because you're trying to save the people from the big murderer person. There it is. There's the big murderer person. Again, as I said, you can upgrade to minis, which I have actually done. I bought the minis. I went whole hog. Why not? Anyway, so this is like your murdery person, and this is your final girl. This is you running around saving everyone. Now, your cards will have actions, and you'll basically spend a card. For example, this card is to walk. Yes, walking is really hard. And maybe this is my bugbear, and this is probably going to be the weirdest rant in the video. So basically, if I wanted to play this card to walk, I would play the card in front of me, and then I would let the gods of the dice see if I can actually walk. I've seen horror movies. I know they can walk. They do it all the time. So let's roll the dice. Lo and behold, I failed walking. I cannot walk. I can technically walk, but I can move and then I'll lose health. How have I lost health? I've lost health by tripping over a stone. I'm just walking. I could understand if I was having a run or trying to get away from someone. I might fall over and badly bruise my eyeball because I've hit my face into a slab of concrete and therefore will lose 1 health. But I'm just walking. The other results could be this. So then I could spend multiple cards just to walk, which then means my hand has less cards in it to do any more. But thank God I've done a walk. That's great news. It seems difficult to walk. I think that's probably my main issue, because I know people can walk or wheel themselves around in these games. I've seen the film. And I've seen them walk. No one falls over when they're walking. You are always completely in control of your hand of cards and what cards you place and what strategy you take, whether you're focusing or you're having a rest or attacking someone. But when it comes down to it, it's luck. And I can get that. And I understand levels of luck is fun. Like, can I do it? Whoa, I just rolled 2 stars then. I would have done my weak attack. That's cool. It feels very swingy, and some people will love that side of things and some people won't love that quite as much. You've got to hope that also that you're not spending all your time so you can actually afford to buy the card. So there's a lot of thinking that goes into the game, and I get that, and it's very interesting, and I think from a strategic point of view there is a lot of strategy, but it's just the dice rolls. That's it. And it feels very repetitive. Even without the dice rolls going your way, even if they went your way, it is still very, I'll play a card to walk. I'll play a card to focus. I failed every time I rolled those dice, by the way. So, yeah. Still, there is something about this game that keeps bringing me back. And maybe that is the fact that I have played Camp Happy Trail far too many times, and I've played that one over and over again to play the game. There is a level of setup with this game, as it takes up a lot of space, and maybe the playmat is an essential, I would say, potentially, to playing the game. Which brings me to another bugbear. There's a Season 1 playmat, a Season 2 playmat, a Season 3 playmat, and a Season 4 playmat, which are all different because where you place cards in different series of movies, that's different too. So now you're telling me I have to have 4 playmats. For a card game, I don't have to have a playmat at all. I think the playmat helps set up and it makes it look less messy on your table because there's a place for everything and everything has a place. I don't know. What am I missing that everyone seems to love? I'd really, really appreciate if you could let me know in the comments exactly what I'm missing, because I don't know what it is. There is part of me that really enjoys this game, and part of me thinks that might just be theme. It might be the whole horror movie thing, and I'm playing some of my favourite movies, even though they're not giving me the same emotional connection that the movies actually give me, because it doesn't feel like I'm playing a movie. Is it I focus too much on walking and worry about what those dice are? That's probably quite accurate as well. I don't know. Something always brings me back to the game, but I don't know what it is, and I don't love it. I don't love it like everyone else seems to absolutely adore this game. There are tier dice. That's something. I don't know whether that's worthwhile looking into to get more out of the game. The tier dice essentially are a blue set of dice that I think came in Season 3. That are a bit of mitigation. So if you have bad rolls, you go up a little track and then you can have these special dice that you can roll to do stuff and hopefully fix things and have a big old fight. Maybe. Let me know in the comments. I really would appreciate it. Let me know if you love Final Girl. Let me know if you don't get on with Final Girl. Let me know what the thing is. Is it because there's too much of it? Part of being a board game collector, board game player, is that when I get a game, we've seen my Everdell collection, I have everything. There is too much Final Girl to have everything. The last Kickstarter, I looked at the bundle of buying complete season 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was nuts. Absolutely nuts. And there's probably no need, unless this is the only game you ever play. And I feel like this game probably needs the hours put into it, because I feel like if you don't play enough, the small rules just fall out of my head. And I have to relearn it again, and that's not fun. It's not fun for anyone. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and appreciate everything. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, do all those YouTube algorithmy things. Let me know what you think of Final Girl. Let me know what I'm missing. Give me hints and tips on how I can enjoy this game a lot more. Do I need to lock the doors, turn the lights on, put the candles on, put some spooky music on? And, you know, do I need the full experience? Do I need a small murderer in the corner of the room staring at me? Let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.